Hello, and we are back with more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. We are finishing up Turnabout Serenade. Let's go. July 10th, 1:40 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. Apollo, I can't believe it! It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lamarar's performance? The reason why she was in that air vent, and that switch, and the flaming guitar. When you link it all together, that's what you end up with. I know you had what it took. Daddy! Mr. Wright! You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than, say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not as well dressed? Oh no! What if you're shot too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. I have yet been dead for 30 years. What? Yay! Yes. It's me, I'm here. We're doing this. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machi Tabaye off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darien Crescent? It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely that our diva divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There's plenty of other ways to explain those things. The flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Well, like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Well, let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the one kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally, some evidence that makes sense. Burnt fragments, found at the crime scene bearing gunpowder residue, possibly a firecracker. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darien Crescent's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. July 10th, 1:55 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescent? In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. He stopped working together when we moved to Criminal Affairs, Division 3, but his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Hair, forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescent. Name and occupation, please. Darian Crescent, Detective. Criminal Affairs, Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, for those of you who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you've heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial? Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemuraw's testimony, if in fact you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Borginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Ha! Conventional methods are out the window, huh? Here goes nothing. Witness testimony. Darian's rebuttal. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots, as if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. So you claim Lemuraw's testimony was a lie? Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing. Trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just 'cause she's blind. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is you've got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Skye? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. I didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this without Lemuraw's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. All right. Darian's rebuttal. Lying, she's got nothing to back up her story. You don't have any proof she was lying. Oh yeah, kid? You saying I lied? No, I'm just saying, Apollo glared back at him. I couldn't help it. I flinched by reflex. Detective Crescent? Yeah, what do you want? Nothing. Apollo, chin up, back straight. You're wilting. This guy's hard as nails. He makes Walkie look downright cooperative. Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice. In the first place, she never heard my voice. Right, okay. You never talked to her even though you were playing in the same concert? Not a word as far as I can recall. But weren't there planning sessions or something? Gavin took care of all that himself. Darian wasn't involved in any of the meetings with her. If you can just go around remembering everyone's voice like that anyway. Only an idiot would believe that. Lemuraw's hearing is very sensitive. She could remember him if she heard him, I'm sure of it. I just can't prove it. And I need proof. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots as if. We know she missed the words. The mixing board proved it. Oh, yeah? There was a mistake. But blaming it on gunshots is just a lame excuse. What do you mean? The mixing board proves what? Proves there was a mistake in the song, a miscue. So, she just flubbed it up, big time. That's all. She spins this story about a gunshot to protect the kid, and cover for her own goof. Man, I'd have to hand it to her, if she wasn't sticking it to me at the same time. Darian, watch what you say. Lemurrar is an artist. She just flubbed it up. That's no small accusation for a performer of her caliber. Heh, she got to you, all right. I can see it in your eyes. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious. It's way over my head. I'm detecting a rift in the Gaviner's ranks. Anyway, she's too close to the defendant. Her testimony can't be trusted. You ask me, I'd go with Detective Sky's story, the drop of a pick. And Sky hear the gunshots? Yeah. Actually, I was there too. So I hear. Which means you heard them too, right? The gunshots? Yes. We heard gunshots. Neither I nor Emma actually saw the shooting, mind you. I guess you and Lemurrar got the same excuse then. We know one thing for certain here. There were gunshot-like sounds that emanated from that room during the third set. What we must determine is whether those sounds were actually gunshots. Machi heard them too. Remember he said he ran for the air duct when he heard them? So how do we figure out just what those gunshots during the third set were? The shooting took place when I was on stage, okay? That could have been what the shooter wanted us to think. I'll tell you what the shooter, that kid, wants you to think. He wants you to think the diva heard me in that room. I'm back to relying on Lemurrar's testimony. As much as I'm enjoying the Darian and Forehead show, there's no need for such tempers. Don't make us into some comedy duo. This means the Gavin and Darian show's canceled. Neither of your claims can be proven or disproved. We could argue for days like this and get nowhere. Prosecutor Gavin is quite right. This court will hear no further discussion on this topic without new facts. New facts, huh? He's pretty eager to paint Lemurrar as a liar, isn't he? Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case. This is tough, so what do we do? I've got a few ideas. I just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did. Let's see. Well, let's look at the court record here. We got here the gunshots during the third set. Shooting took place when he was on the stage. I wonder, this one seems a little bit weird. Doing gunpowder residue, possibly a firecracker. Firecracker would make... Wait, so, and she's the one, this one might be it. Let's see. Yeah. Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this small device. That's the remote-triggered igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Oh, not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder were found on those fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. How did Gavin know about this? What? You think Detective Sky works for you? I received the report this morning, before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial. Just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. Also, wow, the prosecution actually suspected somebody else could be the killer and made preparations. Is Gavin the best prosecutor in the series? I don't know. You decide. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off? Right when two witnesses came walking by? Ha! That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest, and there's no one to hear, you get my drift? Why go through the trouble, man? Oh! How do I explain this? He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness and he's sure to find it. He may not look it, partner. Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd there just before the third set. Something odd? A headset. The kind all of the band and staff members were wearing. Well, that's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped, but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were out on stage. He's helping us solve the case. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Hair Forehead. I have a question for you. Huh? For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime, it's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix, and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We can't say. Ugh. You've raised the possibility that the shots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless. Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove the crime took place during the second set? Yeah, I think. You'd better know, Apollo, otherwise we're through. It can be proven. You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you. Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness your testimony, if you would. This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof, and fast. You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. Let's see, the shooting took place during the second set. If so, let's see your proof. Let's press. But the gunshots heard during the third set could have been... What? Some kind of setup? I've heard that one before. We need proof, Apollo. We need to prove that the shooting took place during the second set. Well, if you know how to do that, I'm all ears. Maybe the gunshots are the key after all. What do you mean? Well, Lamarar said she heard them, right? Right in the middle of her illusion, when she was up above the ceiling. And when she forgot the words to the song, yeah. If you can prove the gun was shot right when she missed those lyrics, we're home free, I'd think. True. But not easy, but true. Is there some way to prove that? Let's take a look through our evidence. Maybe there's something in there. Hey, aren't you supposed to be cross-examining me? Try to refrain from private discussions during cross-examination, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. Sorry. Just let me take a quick look through the court record. Alright. We have the mixing board. Let's see. This is supposed to be her singing, so let's see if we can hear anything. It's during the second set of lyrics, right? Oh. Yeah, you can hear it clearly. Present the attorney's badge. The gunshots happened during the second act because Apollo is a lawyer and he said so. That's right. But yeah, the mixing board, we have the proof. I'm a lawyer and I say so. He's pretty eager to paint Lamarar as a liar, isn't he? Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case. This is tough. So what do we do? I've got a few ideas. I just need to find another way. Alright, hang on. Alright. We're presenting the mixing board. It seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lamarar's song. Her song! What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? How old are you, Judge? Come on, we just used this. And don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lamarar's voice included. Ho-ho! But what does this prove? According to Lamarar's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. Ha! Ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darian? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance, but Lamarar's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same. Well, then let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now. Lamarar stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Well, we did this already. Yep. Your Honor, listen to this part. What's this? I hear nothing. How is this possible? Wait, isn't the judge hard of hearing? I can hear just fine, thank you very much. He heard me thinking. I saw what you were thinking on your face. The judge's hearing aside, I too heard nothing, leading me to believe there's nothing there to be heard. I guess that's the wrong spot. A penalty, really? Mr. Justice, one more if you would. Just stop singing. Alright. Let's see. Oh, I had the wrong part selected, I think. I see, because you can highlight these. There. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lamarar's vocals. Yeah. And then here it is. Yep. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lamarar's testimony was true. Gah. Order! So, she was telling the truth about what she heard? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Lutus. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch, now. Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescent, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it. But why did we only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets fired from this weapon? Lamarar was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. But then, as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again, and Mr. Lutus's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescent? Once again, I'm reminded of something. Huh? Our performance that day. Your performance? Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, Hair Forehead. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Tongue. My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part's off. Which is that? Second guitar. Ah! It was you, Darian. I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latusse's .44 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder, if you're an amateur.
Wait, you mean his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha! You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescent? I am a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training. Plenty of it. I'm no amateur.
The standard sidearm issued to a police officer is a .438 caliber weapon, a much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim.
So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean?
The thought had occurred to me, yes.
Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescent? What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey, you, attorney.
Me?
Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager, and that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to this case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescent. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it.
Witness testimony. Proof of innocence.
Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was that diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case?
Hey, the guy who died maybe could do the first shot, and then the guy, like, is a... yeah. Yeah. According to our records, yes. Not even once.
I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
Great, now I need to find a motive. Okay. Why would I even want to kill that manager? Okay. Her manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was...
Oh, right. Sorry. An Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? Not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted. That's cold, dog.
Dog?
Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was.
Easy, I got no motive.
But that's the same for Machi. No motive was proven for him. Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own. Ugh. More than I sure did. I mean, think about it.
This was that diva's first trip to this country. Darian, you're a detective with international affairs?
Yeah, what of it?
Even if this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to this country, you still could have met him prior to the concert.
Huh?
Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs?
That's right. Well, Detective Crescent? That's your game, is it? I guess I'd better confess then. Confess? Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment, but I've never been sent overseas. What? But you're an international... See, me and Plains got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much. My condolences, Hair Forehead. But he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside the country. I can guarantee it. As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well. That's so unfair.
How dare you not have reality work the way I won't need it to? How could I possibly know our manager?
So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert? Fraternize? I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. No, the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So, you see?
If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
You sure about that? What? What? Wipe that look off your face before I do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations, I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget who you're accusing of what.
Hair Forehead, perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking, yeah?
Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know.
So he's using this motive question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too.
Evidence.
Is it the, Okay, the thing that I was thinking of is the replica egg. Because... Let's see, that says sample on it, right? Sample, huh? Think they put a big enough label on it? Or maybe it's to keep people from eating it by mistake. Yes, they might think it was an otherwise tasty, multicolored lump of plastic. Maybe it's the manufacturer? Sample toys, when you can't afford the real thing. Sounds like a company Mr. Wright would like. Okay. You want a reason, you got no motive. If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? Maybe this. The replica. Yeah, I did it. Your Honor, take a look at this.
What's that? Looks like candy.
It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescent, ever seen this?
Looks like a piece of candy.
What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. And specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings.
A cocoon? Never seen one that color.
It is a variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. Nowhere else.
All right, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Well, surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it?
It does. Wait, I think it does.
You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon? Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of?
Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative.
A curative? For what?
Apparently, it is most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia.
Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. Well, we looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out into the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing.
All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export, one rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others.
Interpol?
Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on referring to him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent.
So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder.
Oh, so I was gonna sell it on the black market? Make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoons business.
Witness testimony. Cocoon smuggling.
International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah. Cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in International Affairs. I know the deal. Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You kids think up the craziest things. But no way am I gonna risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted.
According to the reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky.
Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm gonna find out what.
Alright, cross-examination.
National Affairs. Okay. That memo. That's how you knew about the cocoons? Oh, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoons to plan this. Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'd never heard of them. Well, Lamrar knew about them, though not their use.
My reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to export, that's all.
Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You could say people like me who know about them are a minority. Yeah. But that includes everyone in International Affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol, too, for that matter. Yeah. Alright. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche? All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Okay. Dangerous? Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. Cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. But wouldn't scarcity drive up prices? Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair, too. Who's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the black market. And that's a bad thing? Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. In International Affairs, I know the deal. Okay. Which is why you'd know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off of International Affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to, Down, Darian. It's as you say. There are no loopholes, or at least in the case of these cocoons. International Affairs, Interpol, and Borginian Customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that diva says. Why are you out of what? You want some of this? Chill. Both of you, let's do this cool, yeah? No, screw cool. I want this guy's head on a stick. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Let's see, International Affairs. Can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Wait a minute. What about the news story about the chief's son who has incuritis? Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? Or about someone
Like this. Yeah, I knew it.
That article, that's about the Chief Justice's...
A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis.
Incuritis? Oh, I've heard of that somewhere.
You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning.
Aha! Wait, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying...
Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice.
You're saying... You are saying that the Chief Justice? He would never deal in contraband.
Not even to save his own son's life.
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal.
That's Detective Crescent's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice.
Detective Crescent? Is this true?
First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway?
Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller.
Don't let slaves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof?
Well...
Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out.
So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Borginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Alright. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. Alright, hang on. Just how strict is this customs check?
Way strict.
They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows.
Yes, it would be hard to distinguish them.
That's right. Gavin was in Borginia, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detectors several times. Had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glimmerous fop. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot.
That's pretty extreme.
Borginia has this rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. The truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Borginia is a peaceful, pleasant country, so this level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. That's the situation. Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. Okay. You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah, I need to know a bit for work, sure. But all we get are reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich.
I would be interested in hearing, purely from a legal perspective, of course.
I weep for our judicial system. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's got to be a way to find out what he was up to. Let's see. Everything and everyone gets checked. Okay, the wristband is not active, so there's nothing in his little expressions that we can pick up. I'm sure I'd like to know. The guitar? Because it was a gift from Lamarar. Oh! Do you remember what Gavin said? He had this sent specially, and he bypassed customs to get this sent back to America. Sorry, Japanifornia. It's got to be this. Actually, there is one way.
Oh, what?
One way to get something out of the country, no checks.
What is it?
That would also explain why he burnt it, because that would remove any evidence. You become a prosecutor.
A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamorar. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Virginia? That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruined the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamarar's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. Brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quiet. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying the guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. What? What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory here, forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in front? It's called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this, in fact. An igniter! Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use Picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access, like a member of the band? Yo! I like his dangling hair thing. Order! 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 So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Hair, forehead. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro? The gentle sounds of Lamarard's ballad, if you will. First, my keys were stolen, a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see! But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. Oh, what's that? Mr. Latouche. Ah! Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated then, the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch. Now! The guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. And then... Mr. Latouche died, with Lamarard there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man. Detective Crescent? I gotta know. You make all that up on the fly? For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darian. Ugh, the Republic of Virginia. Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Ha! Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Virginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamarard heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch, now.
He made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
It was Machi. This is it, the coup de grace. The coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility. You are now Spider-Man, Mr. Justice. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice?
Machi. There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Machi Tobaye.
But Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one.
I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I'm here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he's innocent of that particular crime.
Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lamora?
Couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamorar was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lamorar still could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar Serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Lamorar stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower, which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamorar's position in the air vent.
Ah!
Well, Detective Crescent, what do you say to that?
Your Honor. Yes, Detective?
Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time.
Well, I don't see why not.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. He's gonna say that Gavin's guitar was in the air too, so it was also out of range. Okay.
Too bad, so sad. Punk.
Punk? Well, first you were sleeves, then kid, now punk? You're losing rank fast, Apollo.
What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't what we see, correct, Arian?
Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians, after all.
Care to explain for us non-musicians?
Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first.
Musical objection to 5 Yeah.
You see, I ordered the pianist to set off that igniter, is that right? Yes? Well, in order to do that, we'd have to press a switch. Am I right?
Okay.
Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano.
Piano?
Hmm?
He was playing piano the entire time.
What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine.
And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it.
Yeah. You're supposed to hit that switch if he's playing. You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva, Lamorar. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Ugh! Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Oh! Oh!
Okay. Unless the igniter was in the piano, which it was.
The piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just...
Strange.
What's strange?
No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there.
Odd? Mr. Justice, if Machi Tabai didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here are some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant, Machi Tabai, the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Paulo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? The performance was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, he was saying the performance was weird. And I think we're gonna have to use the mixing board again.
There's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machi Tabai pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove?
Let's see. Prove that Machi Tabai pressed that switch. Yes. Yes, we can. I don't know if you can call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Your forehead. You sure about this?
Ha! Accept it. There's no evidence, man. Well, let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed the switch?
The mixing board. The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Alright. Okay.
I hear a piano being played.
But doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand?
One hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other.
Ha! What, so you're some kind of piano savant?
Actually, no.
Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand.
Ugh. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here.
Wait, I know. Hey,
Trucy.
Yeah, you got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he...
Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had three hands.
So sorry. So sad for you.
No, not really.
Huh?
That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way.
Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with one hand or two? You can't.
I admit it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand.
How do you know that?
The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song.
No way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand, right before the guitar burst into flame.
Machi was definitely playing with one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it. Alright, here we go. Let's just isolate to the piano part. Yeah, there's like a weird section there. Okay. Yeah, everything else sounds more in depth than this part. Yeah, this part, I think, sounds the most complex. So, I'm gonna present this part. The first part, part 4, yeah. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Hair Forehead.
Realized what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in that question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the "but a fleeting melody" phrase. Let's see. But a fleeting melody.
Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing?
You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar burst into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh, that night in your embrace." Alright. Yeah.
But play verse 2 again?
Like I said, I hope you really like this cutscene.
There, did you hear that? They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What?
Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple. But the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use two hands to play that for sure.
What's that prove?
I would think you know that by now.
This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man.
So the two verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself? Now ask yourself why Machi changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Ugh. Ugh. Yep. Order! 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 I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quiet. Though, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. Heh. What? No comeback? Can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over. I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Hair Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes. Don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But 1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if he did, we would have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darien Crescent's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes. Good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry, and I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Hair Forehead, you are accusing this man, Darien Crescent, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latus and the smuggling of a Virginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment of this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. I think he's talking about Machi. Machi clearly can corroborate this. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darien Crescent. Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darien Crescent's plan is... Yeah, it's a witness. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence.
Huh? So what is...
It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt?
Machi Tabai. The one person who can prove Darien Crescent's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tabai.
Your client? Again?
Machi Tabai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darien Crescent could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case.
How so?
It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burnt-out guitar.
Aha! Very scientific of you.
Thus, if Machi Tabai acknowledges his agreement with Darien Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darien's laughing again.
Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to.
Why not?
The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything.
Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling.
What's this all about?
Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Borginian law.
Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking.
But you're wrong, Detective Crescent.
What?
It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble.
Huh? How?
Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia. And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Borginian cocoon.
Yeah, but...
But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now.
Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me.
Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? Same goes for Machi Tabai.
Ugh!
The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan, Machi Tabai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling.
Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace, a hidden mansion, real nice.
You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos?
Come on. Please! Don't talk!
Okay. Darien, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession. Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though.
Well, have you been listening to today's trial?
Yes.
And you'll talk? You tell the court everything?
I didn't want it to turn out this way. But I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial
was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from beginning, I knew. Machi, situation I cannot explain, but money. I needed very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Machi Tubai. Yes? I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country, and with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Machi Tubai, not guilty. Court is adjourned. July 10th, 4:42 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. I wonder what'll happen to Machi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lemmerar? Is something wrong? I'm sorry, Machi was your partner on stage, your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil, I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lemmerar lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I've been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right, she's the landscape painter in sound after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemmerar. I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet, me too! And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar's Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. The end. So that's the end of Turnabout Serenade. So, we're gonna save, and then I'm gonna take a very quick break, and then we will get into the final episode of Apollo Justice, Turnabout Succession. So I'll be right back.
All right, let's go. Turnabout Succession. Continue on to the next episode? Yes. Episode 4, Turnabout Succession. And that is the whole truth of this case. Mason system. Oh boy. In order to understand it myself, I had to know the story of these last 7 long years. Nothing happens by chance. All is connected. Ooh. And now, you stand ready to begin the final chapter of this story. Will the defendant be found guilty or innocent? The decision is yours. Oh! Why, that's a familiar-looking fellow. October 7th, 10:37 a.m. Write Anything Agency.
Hey, Apollo, look on TV. Look, look.
Yeah, I'm kind of busy.
Whoa, look at that. He's the last Grammari. All right, amazing.
Apollo, you should be watching this.
Ow, ow, ow. What?
I was writing about our last case in my journal. Players are supposed to write things in records, Apollo, not journals. And why now? That case was 3 months ago. Hey, it's a long story. I did a lot, you know. I want to vacuum pack the feel of the moment for later. Right now, I'm wowing the crowd by figuring out how Lemurar disappeared.
That's right, Uncle Valent did that illusion too.
But you're missing him on TV right now. We're just getting to the good part. I suppose I should watch a little TV with her. After all, her father's expecting me to look after her while he's away. What you're seeing now is a rehearsal for the greatest magic show on Earth. Happening right here at our very own Sunshine Coliseum.
The Sunshine Coliseum? Hey, that's where the Gaviner's concert was.
Only 3 more days until miracles happen here right before your unbelieving eyes. The legendary Troupe Grammari is performing for the first time in 7 years.
That's gonna be great. I'm so there.
You and Daddy are coming too. The legendary Grammaris? If Trucy's real father were still alive, he'd be on that stage performing miracles.
I've got the tickets and everything. Here's yours, Apollo.
Magic show tickets. Ticket to the premiere showing of a grand illusion by the magician Valent Grammari. Ah, you are here. Working hard or hardly working? Hey, have you been?
Hi there, stranger.
Not exactly the kind of greeting I'd want to hear from my own kid. Though he has been gone a long time. How goes it, Trucy? Here, I got a present for you.
Yay, pudding!
I love pudding. Oh, it's farm fresh. Not just 1 pudding, but 3 whole cups. I'll have to pace myself. Well, I'm beat.
That's right, Daddy. You're on a top secret mission. You've got to take it easy with the secrets, you know?
How right you are.
So you still can't tell us what your mission is?
Yeah, maybe it is time. It has something to do with you, anyway.
Huh? With me? Oh, maybe you're getting a top secret mission too. Maybe you can be one of those guys. A spy.
Can I just be a defense attorney? To be honest, telling you about the mission was my whole reason for coming here today.
What?
Tell me, you've heard of the jurist system, yes?
The jurist system?
That's right, the new legal system everyone's talking about. Have you heard of it, Apollo? Huh? Maybe. Maybe not as many people are talking about it as I thought. The Juris system, huh? Let's talk to Phoenix about it. The Juris system. Ah, yes. That extremely new concept, having juries. So, Daddy, what's this Juris system thing? Well, Tercy, do you know what a jury is? I've heard of it. Isn't that those people who sit in court in those old courtroom dramas? The ones who get to decide if a guy is innocent or guilty? Do you know, Apollo? Only from TV. It's 12 people chosen from the community, right? Well, they're thinking about reviving that system. They're calling the new system the jurist system. No more doing whatever you like, Your Honor. Not quite that harsh. The jurists cooperate with the judge. They help analyze the case from different angles. Ah, and there'll be only 6 of them under the current proposal, right? Kind of like, how they did it in, The Great Ace Attorney. A little bit of a preview for that. Wow, you know your stuff, Apollo. Their findings directly affect the verdict. Hopefully, people will start taking the courts a little more seriously now. I feel like I'm on some kind of educational TV show. Starring Dr. Wright. Dr. Wright? Wait a minute. Dr. Wright, his assistant Trucy, and mascot Apollo. The perfect team. Mascot? Hey! The secret mission. Is Dr. Wright going to make a super fighting robot? The secret mission. So, what is the secret mission? The Juris system is my mission, more or less. Anyway, keep in mind that new ideas like this system are always risky, Apollo. Too true. Everyone's got an opinion, and they just talk and nothing gets decided. Kinda like you, Apollo. I'm not that bad, am I? In any case, we're gonna give it a shot. A test, if you will. I don't like tests. We'll take a case as a sample and choose 6 jurists. I'll be the one helping with that process, incidentally. Helping how? Well, for one, I'll be chair of the Juris System Simulated Court Committee. The chair constructs the ideal situation, choosing the case, the jurist candidates, even the judge, and the courtroom. Wow, it's like you have a real job. I was never that good at piano, to be honest. Once a lawyer, always a lawyer, I guess. The trial's tomorrow, by the way. Don't miss it. The trial simulation, that is. Simulation, huh? That sounds interesting. So, what kind of case is the trial simulation about? Well, since it is the first run-through of a new system, I wanted something simple. Good thinking. No sense wearing yourself out on something too serious. True. The case is a murder. That's not simple at all! By simple, did you mean that the defendant is... guilty? Yes, most likely. So, good luck, Apollo. With what? With the trial tomorrow. You're defending, of course. Recall that I said it had something to do with you? Go for it, Apollo. It's just a test case anyway, no sweat. Yeah, but there's still a verdict to be decided. And a potentially serious sentence. The most serious in a worst-case scenario. You mean the verdict's for real? That's not a test trial, that's a real trial. All the forms have been filed. There's no turning back now. Trial begins tomorrow at 10 a.m. Hope you can make room in your schedule. What is this, a comedy? Yeah. Why am I only hearing about this now? Yes, there was a change this morning. I picked a new case. Huh? Something that happened last night. The trial simulation. Alright, so what case are you gonna use? You really want to know, don't you? Of course I do. I mean, I'm gonna be defending, aren't I? If all goes well, then yes. Of course, this is just a test. We wanted everyone to start without preconceptions. A blank slate, as it were. There's a difference between having a blank slate and just being totally clueless. Whose dumb idea was that anyway? Well, mine. Committee chair, remember? Oh. Well, if you want to know that badly, I suppose I could give you permission to examine the scene of the crime. Good! That's better. But you can't talk to anyone involved with the case. What? Then how am I supposed to defend? You let me worry about the details there. Remember, I'm in charge of this trial. All of it. But you don't want it to backfire, do you? Apollo, if I'm in charge of this whole trial, that means the entire affair is my responsibility. For good or for bad. Well, just do what you can. And don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Alright. I'd recommend going down to the detention center. Your client's waiting for you. You can ask about the scene there. But you just said I couldn't talk to anyone involved. Oh, you can talk to your client. If you can get her to talk. Well, time's a-wasting. Alright, let's talk about Valiant Grammari. Hey, Apollo, I know you're all excited about that secret mission, but what about this? The Troop Grammari Grand Magic Show. Huh? Oh, right, the card tricks. They're not card tricks! They're grand illusions, miracles, the apocalypse, heaven and earth will shake! So what? That's 3 whole days from now. It's at Sunshine Coliseum, let's go today! We can say hi to Uncle Valiant. Have fun. What? I can't go by myself, you know I'm not very outgoing. Right. Why not go with her? But what about the secret mission? Oh, don't worry about that. You'll hear all about it tomorrow, regardless. Don't trust that smile. He knows something that he's not telling me. Yippee! Now you can take me to the Coliseum. I suppose it wouldn't kill me to pop over there. Grammari. That reminds me. What's this, Daddy? Isn't that Silcat the Grammari seal? Consider it a birthday present, Tercy. Thanks, it's great. But today isn't my birthday. Good point. What day is it today, Apollo? Huh? Today? I think it's Recycle Your Plastics Day. Then it's a Recycle Your Plastics present. Yippee! So it's plastic! I've given up trying to understand them. It's much easier that way. So what is it? Can I open it, Daddy? No. Huh? You'll need that envelope someday. Someday soon. Don't open it until then. Well, why didn't you just hold on to it until then? Because that would be the logical thing to do. The Grammari envelope. Do not open until the time is right. An envelope about the Grammaris, huh? Interesting. Can we... That's certainly... Huh. Oh, it's Trucy's invitation to Smash Brothers. That's what it is. No. What is this? Oh, looky here. A handwritten signature. It says... I can't read it. That seems odd to me. I mean, isn't a signature intended to show ownership? What's the use if no one can read it? Isn't it enough if you can read your own? Oh, I never thought of it that way. Yep. So there was a signature on it, but beyond that, I have no idea. I do like that the guy in the top hat, it looks like Wario in a top hat, kind of. Wow, my top hat. Magic show. $70 to go see this magic show, eh? What's this say on the back? Are you ready, Apollo? Ready for what? For what? For the Troop Grammari Grand Magic Show. It's not like I'm getting up on stage or anything. What are you talking about, Apollo? You can't enjoy magic if you're not part of what's going on upstage. I'll lend you my spare costume if you need one. Huh? You mean I can't go in this? I can't go in this? No. It doesn't get more straightforward than that. Okay. Apollo wearing a Grammari outfit. Presenting, are we? I did my fair share of that back in the day. Showed my attorney's badge a lot, too. He may look cool and calm now, but you should have seen him before. You know me too well, Trucy. I'm glad I provided this opportunity for a little family bonding. I'm glad that Phoenix acknowledged that he was a big fan of presenting his attorney's badge. see. What do we got here? There's a number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it, but this one is mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. A Full Metal Jacket reference. Wow. To tell the truth, I get a happy feeling inside just looking at it. All right. Well, I think we got to get going. Let's go to the detention center. October 7th, detention center visitors room. That's 20 minutes we've been waiting here. 20 minutes! Maybe I should complain? I'm sure that guard has better things to do than stand there pretending he doesn't see us. You know, the minute we get angry, the client will show. It always works that way. Like shouting, "Oh, waiter!" and they're standing right behind you. Oh, guard! Is our client gonna be much longer? What are you talking about? Haven't you already started the meeting yet? Huh? Eek! Where'd you come from? Well, anyway, please have a seat. I'm nervous, Apollo. It's the silence. It builds suspense. Why don't you do something, Trucy? You're a magician, aren't you? That's right. Okay. I'm the amazing Mr. Hat. Eee! She passed out! Miss Magic Underwear might have been a better bet. That's magic panties, Apollo. Alright. Introductions. Hi. Well, I'm your defense. I really think it has to be fate, you know? And by fate, I mean destiny. Do you know I'm good with astrology? Tell me, what's your sign? I can tell you mine if you'd like, Apollo. No, never mind. I just got carried away there. I seem destined to get difficult clients, it seems. Well, Phoenix did too, but... Your name? So what's your name? Oh, right. I'm supposed to introduce myself first. I'm Apollo. Apollo Justice. And I'm Trucy Wright. I know. This is getting nowhere fast. The case. Hey, I know. Maybe you can... Phoenix was part of the problem. Yes. This is true. Maybe you can tell us what happened? I'm your defense attorney, after all. Anything out of the ordinary happened lately? Well, the other day, this tourist from out of town stopped to ask me directions. Later, Trucy. I feel like I need to ask directions myself here. Well, that was fruitless. Though I think I understand despair a little better now. You did good, Apollo! Look, she's doing her nails! What? Aren't nails more important than defense? Is that it? Let's go, Trucy. Excuse me. Could you read this? Sure. I feel like a teenager on a first date. And this is the love letter we passed from desk to desk at school. Stop looking so wistful and read it, Apollo. It's a business card with a name and an address. The name is Vera Measham. The address is for Drew Studio. The defendant's business card. Okay. And you're giving me this card because... Well, looks like we're finished here. I wonder if Drew Studio is the scene of the crime. Well, let's go find out. Alright. Let's go to the Drew Studio. October 7th, Drew Studio. Wow, this looks like... It looks like a studio. It's life imitating art, or maybe it's the other way around. But the tape on the ground there, it's a bit jarring. Yeah, looks like we found our crime scene. Apollo, look at all those paintings! Hey, don't touch those. It's okay, I'm just looking. Okay. That one's like a puffer fish. And I don't know what that is. A peach? Apollo, look at this one. It looks half finished. You can still see the rough sketch underneath. But that's odd. The rough part doesn't look like the rest of the painting at all. Yeah, good point. That is odd. Drew Measham's painting added to the court record. All the paintings have a really different style, too. Ah, I thought I might find you two here. Emma, long time no see. Oh, it seems like I run into you far too often. I'll bet I know why you're here, too. You know about the trial simulation tomorrow? I've heard about it, sure. So, Mr. Wright chose you, huh? We don't even know what the case is about. Well, he was killed. The artist who owns the studio, that is. Mr. Drew Measham. Measham? And his daughter was put under arrest. Yeah, we just saw her at the detention center. It was funny, though. She seemed more like a victim than the kind of person who could commit murder. You don't say. Not even by poisoning? That's how it was done, you know. Poisoning's a common way to get the job done when the murderer is a woman. Poisoning? Anyway, Mr. Wright told me you'd be coming. Feel free to take a look around. I'll just be over here with my snackoos. We can't talk to anyone related to the case this time around, which means we'd better find out as much as we can here at the scene. Or else. Can we talk to Emma at least? So this Drew Measham was some kind of artist? Apparently. Did a lot of illustrations for books, I hear. Had a lot of female fans too, for what it's worth. Oh, well I guess his stuff is kind of pretty. Like that oil painting over there, for instance? Yeah. That wasn't one of his illustrations, actually. Huh? So it was a standalone painting or something? Is that what she means? He was an odd bird, Measham. Were they talking about this one here in the corner? I see it back there. Hadn't shown his face to anyone until the end. What do you mean, to anyone? He was always locked up here in this studio, apparently. His only connection to the outside world was through letters he'd put in that letterbox there. Letters? Do people still write letters? What do you mean, Apollo? I mean, when was the last time you wrote a real letter? Don't most people use email and stuff these days? And not Mr. Measham. Couldn't stand technology, it seems. He did everything by mail. There's a lot of jokes I want to make, but I'm not going to. Maybe he thought that way was more artistic, you know? Letterbox. Drew Measham's contact with the outside world. It is empty. In any case, the only person besides him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please. Yeah. We took some fingerprints, of course. The only ones found in the room are Mr. Measham's and Vera's, basically. Basically? Actually, last night, Mr. Measham gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. It happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever? Could you tell us a bit more about what happened the night of the murder? See, let's talk about the defendant first. So, this woman, Vera, she's Mr. Measham's daughter, right? Yeah, a real sickly girl, ever since she was little. Hardly ever went outside. She did kind of give off a withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. It was quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently, she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? But why should a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. So about the poison, it was found to be in his coffee, right? With the letters FK in the coffee. No, not precisely. Not precisely? What does that mean? It means see for yourself, I think. The night of the crime. Man, The reporter did it, I guarantee it. Yeah. This really makes me miss Mr. Sholmes and his great deductions. I really feel like this scene could use one of those. The night of the crime. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from the outside came into the studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make for good articles. And it just so happened that he died the night of his first interview? At around 9 p.m. every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night, he drank his usual coffee and suddenly became violently ill. And died? She poisoned him on the night of his interview? Wouldn't the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Measham when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment in the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was the reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? If anyone's suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Measham's coffee. Even Vera acknowledges that. Regardless, I want to know more about this reporter. Yep. Let's see, is there anything else we can present to Emma or a badge? Emma, I was wondering if you could take a look at this. Look, I'm a detective. A detective. You can't just ask me any old thing and expect an answer, okay? I think you need to be a little more focused in your inquiries. Scientific, even. Somehow I knew she'd get around to science. Alright. So we have portrait, acrylic, and landscape. Actually, does she know anything about this card? No. The magic show. No? She has no opinion about the magic show. Well, let's just look around the room then. I'm gonna look at this painting that's stuck here in the corner. Hey, there's a painting hidden back here. Hey, you're right. What if it's embarrassing somehow, and he didn't want anyone to see it? You certainly seem pleased by the possibility. Huh. It's so normal. Hey, it's the same picture. That's hardly something to get mad about. Huh? What is it, Apollo? Well, doesn't this painting look like... Never mind. Hmm? I'd better get a professional opinion on this. The hidden painting. Yeah. We can ask the client? Vera? Alright, let's look at the coffee. Ah, that's the victim's coffee mug. Aha! So the poison was in here. This is my first time seeing a real poison mug of coffee. I would hope so. Poison coffee? Not exactly, actually. What do you mean? No traces of poison were found in the coffee. What? You'll have to figure out the rest yourself. I'm officially not on your side, after all. The victim's last cup of coffee, the side of the cup reads Measham. Alright, what about this? I imagine this coffee cup was for guests to use. Guests? Did the police already analyze this cup too? Not a trace of poison was found on that cup. So the killer was after Drew Measham alone? Alright. Eek, Apollo, that's where his body was. That's the spot where Mr. Drew Measham passed away. He put the coffee mug to his lips, and the next moment... There's quite a bit of paint on the ground. See that half-painted painting there? He must have been working on that right up to the moment he died. Wow, a true artist to the end. Or maybe he started it a year ago and was procrastinating. That letterbox looks funny sitting inside a room like this. Let's take a look. Empty. The other half of that letterbox is actually connected to the outside of the studio. Mr. Measham would put his letters in there, and the postman took them away. Impressive that someone still writes letters in this day and age, or wrote, rather. Right? so let's look at the paintings, I guess. I wouldn't mind taking a closer look at those paintings. I just love oils. You know how they're so thick? Is that the word? They're dummy thick? Those paints are all dry. I'm just surprised at how different those all are. Yeah, and what's going on with this half-finished one? It must have been a work in progress. You can still see the rough sketch below. That's what's so weird. The sketch part doesn't really fit the finished parts. I noticed. That is weird. Alright. It's the same painting as the one we found over there. The game's not actually letting us make those connections yet, but don't worry, we have. In our own minds, we have. Now, let's go back to the detention center. October 7th, detention center, visitor's room. Now you here to see Vera Mesham? Yes, that's right. She's in the medical office at the moment. Medical office? Is she okay? She's just lying down. Said she doesn't feel so good. I'm sorry, but I can't allow any meetings at the moment. Most annoying client ever. I guess we should come back. Let's see. Right, anything? Let's go to Sunshine Coliseum. October 7th, Sunshine Coliseum. The Blue Badger is still here. Woohoo, this is it, Apollo! The place where magic and dreams converge. Just a while ago was the place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valent. What about the case? Only a performer laughs like that. The young Miss Trucy! How often I hoped we'd meet again. Only to tell myself it was an impossible dream. Uncle Valent, how's it going? I'm glad to see you, too. Of course you are! Humility is definitely not one of his stronger traits. Well, Miss Trucy, how does the day find you? If you've come to give me flowers, do it after the show, I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck. And congratulations on your big magic show. Oh, but it is I who wish to congratulate you. Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles, such as the ones I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing. We get the picture. The world will watch in wonderment as Magnifi's illusions are reborn here on stage by my hand. All right, talk about the big magic show. Everyone's talking about the big magic show. Is it true that the Grammar Miracle is back after a 7-year absence? Miss Trucy, I must apologize. The show and this honor should have been his. Daddy. My co-magician in training, Zach Grammar, if that terrible thing hadn't. It's okay. Your father was a great magician, Trucy. If he were alive, then I, Valent Grammar, would have been proud to stand upon this stage as his assistant. Thanks, Uncle Valent. You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnifi's illusions again. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she? Let's talk about Magnifi Grammar. My mentor, the magnificent Magnifi Grammar, was a true deity among magicians. A creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations. I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to outer space, faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a bit embellished. For 7 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match his, as heir to the Grammar Troupe's secrets. It falls to me to provide one. It is my God-given destiny. Yes, you, nameless face, who speaks for the nameless masses. How can I help you? If the world was waiting, why did you hold off for 7 long years? It appears the lad is uninformed. Perhaps you've heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land. I have, though I'm not sure it qualifies as magic. The performance of Magnifi's miracle was impossible. A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more. 7 years? That phrase sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that? a little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy. Performance rights, huh? Can you tell us about these performance rights? Magnifi's magic relied on an incredibly innovative idea, a trick, if you will. That trick was considered his property, and as such, was protected by property laws. Intellectual property, maybe? Magnifi knew this and bequeathed it in his will to one person. You mean him? Yes, Miss Trucy. It was your father. Zack Grammari was the inheritor of the Grammari miracle. Daddy. Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago. I think I see where the story's going. Once a person is classified missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, right? In all absoluteness, those rolled-up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time of which you speak is 7 years. Ah! Yes, Miss Trucy, though it pains me to say it. This past spring, April to be precise, was the time your father was legally declared deceased. In the absence of a formal will, the secrets of our mighty mentor Magnifi passed to me. This was in fact stipulated in the will by Magnifi himself. Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death in absentia. He's declared missing permanently. Oh, Daddy. Alright. Valiant, you want to look at my attorney's badge? Ah, ha, 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 ha. A challenge, is it? You want me to make that disappear? Very well, give it to me. No, thanks. Are all magicians like this? Apollo? What was that look just now? I was just thinking how hard it is to get any information out of a magician. Alright, can we show him the magic show? Ah, a challenge. Alright, it's the same thing. Okay, never mind. What about the Grammar envelope? I was wondering if you could tell me about this. Ah, why, that bears the Grammari seal. Uncle Valiant, is something wrong? Trucy, where did you get this? Daddy gave it to me. Your daddy? My partner, Zack? No. My other daddy, Phoenix Wright. Oh, why now? Why would your Lord Daddy? Lord Daddy? That's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit. The signature upon the back. Do you recognize it? That belongs to none other than Zack Grammari. What? Daddy signed this? Might I be so bold as to open it? I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What's in this envelope, I wonder? Interesting. Is there anything else we can talk to, Valiant about? No? Okay. Hidden painting. Actually, does he know about painting? No, he doesn't, does he? Okay. Alright. So, I'm guessing we got everything we can out of him. And we cannot go into the actual... I mean, it wouldn't make sense to go there anymore because it's not a crime scene, but still. And anything new at Drew Studio? Actually, we could talk to Emma about this hidden painting, right? Oh, Emma, I was wondering about this painting here. Ah! That one? What about it? What about it? Yeah, what about it, Apollo? We'll take a closer look at it, both of you. Now, look at this one. This is the third painting he was working on. Hey, they're the same. I was hoping you wouldn't find that. You're right, though. Drew Misham was copying this painting. Wow, it's pretty good. Copying a painting? What for? Yeah. Forensic science. Okay. I bet Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, flattery will get you everywhere with her, Apollo. Huh? What are you two whispering about? Well, I was thinking, I mean, what is it we always do when we run into you at a crime scene? What is it we always do? Scientifically? Ah, you know me too well. Okay. Okay. Meaning we can get scientific now? Oh, I suppose, just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. Okay. Can we do the hidden painting? Or is that just gonna do the... Yeah, can we look at how both of them... Let's see... Oh, or should we show her not the hidden painting, but this painting? The landscape. Emma, about this painting. Oh, that? Quite good, isn't it? That's not what I wanted to ask you about. You want to examine it? Is that it? I'd be happy to let you, if you had a good reason. But without that, sorry. I guess she wants us to do a little footwork on our own first. Okay? I thought we already had a good reason. Like, what do we have to do to prove it? Is it because we have to look at it? Let's see. What about this? Apollo, look at this painting. You can see the rough sketch. Oh, looks like it was only half completed. Huh? Well, that's funny. Do the rough sketch and the finished painting look totally different to you too? They do, actually. What's that all about? Okay, well, we knew that. The only thing I can think of... Let's see, so that says Misham. And there's the coffee in there. Okay. No, we still can't forensic science it. Do we have to examine it, maybe? Nope, we already examined it. So what do we do to actually trigger letting Emma work with us here? I'm confused. Is there anything else evidence-wise that we're missing? Let's look at the court record again. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. What's this? Hey, look there. That stain doesn't look so healthy, Apollo. That must be the Blue Mountain stuff we've been hearing about. Something tells me that even Blue Mountain coffee isn't this blue. No, this stain is probably... I better ask Emma. Okay, so should we show this to Emma then? Is this what we can forensic, guys? Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue residue on the rim. That, yes, well, it's just a rumor. But I've heard there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science! I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. So what kind of scientific stuff were you up to? This spray, that's what it turns blue when it touches poison. So the poison that killed the victim was on this mug? That's right, see? It wasn't in the coffee. The killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow, science is amazing. It certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma would be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. It's certainly worth talking to her a bit more. About poison analysis? I was afraid you were going to ask about that. See, this solution is used to test for atroconine. Atroconine, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Uh-oh, I know that spark in her eyes. She's getting excited. I best tread lightly. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown... That's fine, really. We don't need to know all the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray this stuff on something you want to test, right? Precisely. You can find even the slightest trace of poison with this. I want to try too, Emma. Pretty please. You don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Yay! Let's give it a whirl, Apollo. Ah! What are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction off of you. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again. I am not poisonous. Tell that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poisons, shall we? Alright. Is this poisoned? That's right, because the coffee mug is not poisoned. That's what she said. So... his brush wasn't poisoned. That wasn't poisoned. Oh! There's a whole second part of the studio. I did not realize. Okay. Well, we'll look there in a second then. But this stuff over here is not poisoned. Alright. Hang on. It was something he ingested, right? Man. What about all this stuff over here? No? Well, there's certainly nothing, like, showing up. Right? Well, we haven't... Okay, yeah. Too bad, no reaction there. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know? Let's check it out, just to be sure. This desk? Okay. Hang on a second. What's that? Is that an envelope? Wait, whoa. Hang on. What was that? Hang on, what is this? It looks like a... What is it? Eek! A reaction, Apollo! Oh! Where? The inside of that cute little frame, look! Wow, would you look at that? Nice going, Tercy. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. Tiny frame added to the court record. A frame measuring 2 inches by 2 inches bears traces of deadly poison atroquinine. Why would the inside of that frame have poison on it? It looks like we found the only other place that was poisoned in any case. We can't talk to her anymore. Can we present this? Emma was wondering... Okay, she has nothing she wants to say. But there was that envelope sticking out of the desk, and I want to look at that. Let's see, what can we look at? Is this desk for painting, Apollo? That would be a drafting table. Drafting? Basically, it's a tool for making precise diagrams. Wow, painting is harder than I thought. Why would a painter need a drafting table? Was he an architect too? Let's see. Let's take a closer look at this desk here. We got one of those poser guys. Yeah, posable guys. Something about the way that figure is posed. I've seen that pose before. It's you, Apollo. See? You're making one of your flamboyant gestures. Please, I am a professional. I wonder why it's posed like that. Coincidence? I'm sure it is. So this is Drew Measham? And this little girl must be Vera. Yeah, they took that some years ago. They look close. A happy little family. Until you arrested his daughter. Ah! Look, I was personally against that, okay? She just didn't seem very suspicious, scientifically speaking. Uh-huh, right. What we got here? I wonder why there's poison on this tiny frame. Very strange indeed. Wait, I know. I bet it was poison from the time you bought it. Haven't you heard about some kinds of green paint being toxic? I don't think they sell that kind anymore, and the poison was atrocinine anyway. A tiny, mysterious poison frame. Weird, isn't it? Is this a journal? Wow, talk about a clue. Let's read it. What is it, Apollo? He didn't write the name of the killer, did he? It's new. He didn't write a single line. Ah, you had me going for a while there. What's this, a feather? Hey, Apollo, what's this feather thingy? Isn't that a pen? Like an old-fashioned quill pen? But it doesn't have a pointy end. That was most likely for sweeping detritus off the desk. Wow, you sure know a lot, Emma. Bold and scientific. That's my motto. Exactly what about that was bold or scientific? What about this letter? This envelope has been opened and resealed. Oh, I know how to do that. You take a pot of boiling water and hold the envelope up to the steam. The glue melts and it opens. Cool, huh? Whoever did this wasn't so delicate. You're right. Looks like they just ripped it open and stuck it back together. Huh? The postmark on this letter is from 7 years ago. Why would someone open a letter, then seal it again? I better hang on to this. Red envelope. Appears to have been opened once and resealed. Okay. Well, can we open it? What is all this stuff? What is all this equipment here for? Thank you, Tracy. It doesn't look very artistic, really. He had everything from a lathe to a laser cutter. Looks like he was ready to work on metals and wood, too. Though his equipment's a bit old, to tell the truth. Why would a painter need all this? From the dust, I'd say he hasn't used this stuff for years. This corner doesn't fit with the rest of the studio. Oh, do you think I could borrow this? I want to cut a quarter in half to make a trick coin. This is a crime scene, Trucy. But these cost like $50 at the magic shop. I had to save up for it, Trucy. Alright, what about over here? Look at all these paints, Apollo. There's so many. He's got like 20 kinds of red. You could repaint your suit, Apollo. How about this shade of green? That'll be enough of that, thanks. Alright. Let's see. Let's see what Emma thinks about the envelope. Red envelope. Emma, about this. Oh, that! Yes, why, that's a bright red envelope. She sure is jumpy. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean you know what's inside the envelope? Sure. I read it after all. Ah, you mean you were the one who ripped this open? Ha! Please! I would have steamed it open. But she did sneak a peek at it, apparently. Know that I have a powerful weapon on my side. Weapon? Yes, the use of tools. Highly specialized tools for information gathering. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. They say a little praise can open big doors. Never heard that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking to her some more. Hey, about that envelope we found, I was wondering if you could help us out with that tool you were mentioning. You want to know about my tool, do you? It's called an X-ray analyzer. X-ray? Like the X-rays you get at the dentist? That's right. At least, that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization... something. How am I supposed to remember all that? So basically, it lets you see inside things, like envelopes? That's right! You're sharp, Tracy. But it's a bit more complicated than that, in practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works, scientifically. Can I try it out, Emma? Please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. All right, let's give it a spin, Apollo. Yeah, what are you doing? Oh, just seeing if I could see through your hair, but it's like lead. Point that thing at me anymore and it might all fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through it. Let's just get down to business, shall we? Right, let's test it on a sample first. It just so happens that I have a lottery ticket here. Okay. You set the sample in the device like so. I don't see anything. Patience, there's no need to get all antsy. Look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view of the envelope. Layer view? You've got it to set it to display the outside of the envelope now, see? Actually, it's quicker to just have you give it a try. Turn that dial there with the arrow keys for me, would you? Okay. That's right. That's how you choose what depth you want to scan. Hey, I got something. See? That's how you can read the letters on the ticket inside. Cool, huh? Except, I can't read them. Just turn the dial a little more. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom in that much, you see that paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam with a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. It breaks cards down into thin layers, so it can only show what's written on that layer. I'm not entirely following you, but what good is it if I can't read anything? That's why we go to step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit, if you would. Rubbing? Like going over the image with WASD while holding the spacebar? Thanks, Emma. Or thanks, Trucy. Okay. So... Okay. There, that fixes the image on the screen. Now turn the dial again, just a little. Good, now you can rub this image to fix it too. Hey, I get it! We just keep doing this until we got the whole thing. Exactly, not bad. Neat, let's try some more. Okay. Okay. And then we just keep going. Okay. And then is there anything else? All right, let's see. I know it says lottery number 0007, big winner. Wait, there it is. We found some noise. There we go. Okay, let's print this one out. Woohoo! I'm a big winner! See? This is the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Now let's try it on the real thing, shall we? Alright. Alright, let's see. Here, we're gonna scan there. Okay. Okay. We're getting it, bit by bit. Drew Measham, okay. It's a letter addressed to him. There. Okay, let's print this one out. So it says, Mr. Drew Measham, I've deposited the $100,000 in the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Someone deposited $100,000 into Mr. Measham's account? His paintings must be really valuable. There's another page in there. Care to take a look? You bet I do. If you're going to read somebody's mail, you might as well read it all. Here goes with the second page, then. Okay. Alright, let's get a little bit deeper here. Ooh, we're getting something. Sign the... Okay. Okay, let's print this one out. It says sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you to speak of this to no one. Wait a minute. Was the stamp in that little portrait we found? Was it a poisoned stamp? So it was a letter about payment for one of his paintings. Why all the secrecy, though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in here? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him? Well, Emma? Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. All right. Red envelope updated in the court record. Got it. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came here for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't tell you because he's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. I'll never forget that face, but what was his name? Oh, right. Brushel. Brushel? He's after a scoop to sell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with a painter? His first interview ever? And that night he's killed? Seems strange to you? Really strange. It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on the beat today, too. He said something about covering a magician. Magician? Well, if it's not Trucy, that leaves only one other person. It wasn't Valent Grammari by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got some big show lined up, I hear. So he's out interviewing Valent Grammari. Looks like I'll be heading out to that Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Here, I'll give you that reporter's card if you want. Brushel's card. The card reads, Spark Brushel, freelance journalist. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to Sunshine Coliseum. Can we present this to him? So a journalist was here on a story? All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. His name was Brushel. Brushel. I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel. That cloying smell of mint when he smiles. Yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? Let's see. Mr. Brushel, the journalist. A man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Valent's vision is always toward tomorrow. Valent's feet step always forward. That is all. That's all very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet, he had ears only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magic of Grammari. Uncle Valent, do you know where the reporter went? I recommend he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center? He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He would tear apart my respectability. I will tear apart him. Oh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valent's big magic trick. Is he gonna fix the card? I'm not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic? Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? He must have really not liked that journalist. Now, the time has come when I must return to make my prestidigitation preparations. By your leave, Miss Trucy. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. What do you think that journalist was after? And why did Valent react like that to this envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. Okay. Alright, anything? Detention center. October 7th, detention center, visitors a room. I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money, end quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Okay. Interesting design. Hey there, how you doing? Who might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. You? You're Justice? You? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on stand till they spill beans. End quote. That's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? Definitely did it, yeah. Whoa, you're Trucy. Hey, am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties, end quote. That's not true. Just hold on to your breeches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? And probably sacrifice his souls to the Blue Badger too. Yes. So guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No! How many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard? Oh, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk, had to interview someone or go plumb crazy, end quote. Huh? I should have guessed. Where are my manners? My name's Brushel, Spark Brushel. I'm not picky. Journalist just closes eyes, writes, end quote. What's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins? Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem, madness, end quote. I can see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something? Spark Brushel. So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist? Me? Look, let me state one thing for the record here. Yes? I'm the interviewer, you understand? Yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here, end quote. Okay. For instance, you think a movie director watches movies? Well, I think he probably does. Exactly, I knew you'd understand. Huh? The night of the crime. So the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio? Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record. Yes? I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy. Real busy. Always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back. End quote. I can understand the philosophy, but... You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport. True enough. But don't they give normal tickets away too? Exactly, see? It's the same thing. What is... the interview. So you want to do a story on Drew Measham? And he'd never had a story done about him before? That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here. What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place? Well, yes. Look, it's like... Oh, I've got it. Say there's this burger joint with fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy is gonna tell me where he got it? At the supermarket, maybe. Exactly, see? That's what I'm talking about. I think I may have actually understood that one. Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers, end quote. Right, I guess we'll leave then. But since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I saw, just for the heck of it. Sure, tell us, just for the heck of it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup, when an article in a tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery. End quote, I believe it was. An oil painting? Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river. Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach? Journalists can smell scoop better than burgers. End quote. Alright, hang on. Landscape. Hidden painting. Ah, right. Let me go on the record here. Yes? I know what you're going to say. Brush'll take this, write brilliant column. End quote. I don't think so. Look, buddy, I read brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. Try to understand. What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. Okay, so that wasn't... What about this landscape? Alright, I'm going the rec. Yeah, never. That's not it either. What about the badge? Nope, the badge won't trigger anything either. Alright. The Vera's card? Nope. He has nothing to say about that either. Okay. Interesting. Well, he did... So the information he gave us was that there was a stolen painting, right? Which is interesting. Is there anything new to talk about with Phoenix? No. Can he talk about the landscape? Presenting. Okay. Nope. That's not it. Nope. He has nothing to say about our presentings. What about Drew Studio? Oh, October 7th, Drew Studio. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with the scary faces you're making? And what's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you've got going, Emma? Is it something to do with the painting? Emma, about this painting. Oh, that? Quite good, isn't it? That's not what I want to ask you about. You want to examine it, is that it? I'd be happy to let you, if you had a good reason. Okay, never mind. What about the hidden painting? This painting came from behind that dresser? Yes, so? It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. It's what you think. Drew Measham was a forger. Oh, really? A forger? Can we talk about forger? There it is. So what exactly is a forger? Well, basically it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies. So precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So Drew Measham was... a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries to supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like practice for the real thing. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery, not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like, after all. Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Measham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting, and maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere, they say. Or maybe I should ask Emma to help us. Alright. Well, now that we've had that, can we look at this? I kind of wanted to see the rough sketch under this painting. And I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick? Oh, fine, fine. Just this time, though. Let's check it out. We want to look at this one. Okay. Alright, let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is very different. It looks like a tower or something. Wait a minute. Is that a guy with a guitar standing on a tower? Okay, let's print this one out. A flaming guy on a guitar holding a tower? Or, sorry, a flaming guy on a tower holding a guitar? Is that what this is? What? What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. He probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted to for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch, but not what it looked like. Oh, I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Measham was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. You think we could check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? Let's check out the middle one. Okay, let's dial this down and see what we can find. Wait, is this like a house? Hang on a second. That's a noodle stand. Is he painting stuff about Apollo's cases? This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at the last of these? Fine by me. Knock yourself out. Okay. Okay. Yep. What? Oh. Oh. It's cards. Interesting. Okay, let's print this one out. Huh. What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trucy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? Yeah, cards, noodle stand, and a guy on fire. Ah! They're... Well, now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club? The dead man pulling the noodle stand? And then... the events that transpired during the Gaviner's concert. What could it mean? How could he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Measham your father? Give me a break. Does that seem even remotely possible to you? I'd never even heard of any Drew Measham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But there were my cases drawn on the canvas. Every single one of them. Couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Measham? And what did he have to do with me? To be continued. So I think that's going to head to the trial point, which we will do next time. So we will reconvene on our next stream. So we'll see you then. Thank you for coming. And we are going to be finishing, maybe next time, I don't know, Justice, and going into Dual Destinies, which is the second part of the trilogy. But anyway, have a good night, and we'll see you later.